Look, Vortex. That's an actual Chevy Aveo. I don't want to zoom in too close because of the license plate. But that's the car that I used to have. So every time that I see a little red car that looks similar to that, I get upset. I know that this is some first world shit right here. Crying about a problem that you created yourself. And every time you're reminded of that problem, you get upset. But, you know, I feel bad because it's like yet another thing that I ruined. Yet another thing that I really, really cared about, that I was really attached to, that I ruined. And it's all because my timing was off and I pulled out in front of somebody thinking that I could get out in time, and I couldn't. And, you know, it's crazy to think about, like, how many things we screw up all because our timing is off. And I guess that's why I'm so careful with, like, a lot of stuff that I say and do now, because I've just gotten myself into so much trouble. Either saying something at the wrong time or doing something at the wrong time. All it takes is just a little bit of discernment, you know? When is it appropriate to say this? When is it appropriate to do that? And I guess that's one of the things about mental illness. It's like one thing that's really distinctive about schizophrenics is that we have absolutely no concept of time. But I guess that's what makes it so funny. Because we're just not concerned about stuff that normal people are concerned about. Like time, you know? We don't live in a box the way that modern society is used to living in a box. And they've trained themselves to think that that's enjoyable. They've trained themselves to think that that's how it's supposed to be. That's not how it's supposed to be. But because we live in a structured environment, people don't know what to do without that structure. I like chaos if it makes sense. I mean, I've managed to make sense out of a lot of chaos in my head. So, all the stuff that you see the left doing is controlled chaos. Don't think for a second that that shit isn't planned. I mean, they're using a lot of those people because they're just, you know, brainwashed. The majority of people that you see at these protests are just you know, what's that term? Useful idiots? But there are useful geniuses out there too. I think that Nick Fuentes is a useful genius. The reason why they're onto him is because he's not a fucking Jesuit, you know? If he was, they wouldn't have any problem with him. But yeah, it's interesting though to see how many people are just so easily manipulated because they want so badly to have faith in a system that they should have never had faith in. And so they're just grasping at straws all the time. In fact, if they're not grasping at straws, I don't think they're actually, you know, living in Western civilization, because, you know, that's all the people do. so they can make excuses for continuing to vote and continuing to trust in the system. So, me personally, I think that shit's demonic, and I have tried to go along with it. You know, I've made multiple attempts to lie to myself for various reasons, and always felt like such an idiot whenever exactly what I expected to happen happened. But, you know, I wanted to believe the sheep. I wanted to believe, you know, the people that trust the system. But I should have just trusted myself.